Coaches Connection, connecting you and the greater DMV to local sports programs, as well as the coaches that inspire our local youth.
Welcome to another edition of Coach Connection. I'm Ferrari Tate, your host, and today I want to tell you, if you don't have pencil and paper, you need to get it, because this brother is going to give you some information that's going to empower you and your community. Without further ado, I want to introduce you to my brother. Tell everybody who you are, brother.
Absolutely, a pleasure to be here. My name is Atuya Cornwall. I have the pleasure to serve as Assistant Division Chief with the Youth and Countywide Sports Division with that long name, the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission, Department of Parks and Recreation here in Prince George's County.
Fantastic, brother. You all are touching so many young person's lives. And you are, like, what age do you start?
Amazingly, we have this recently over the last couple of years. We put together this email box that comes to our general email box. Believe it or not, the most emails we get, peewee age.
Wow.
3, 4, and 5.
Wow.
Parents are interested in how to get their youth engaged at an early age. So we really go from that age of 3, 4, all the way up, to teens, 17, 18-year-olds.
See, I would have thought, my son. Well, actually, my daughter played lacrosse, and it was something that connected us together. Yeah, she had her friends and all, but it connected us together.
Right.
And so not only are you being able to provide a place for children to run up and down, how have you seen the impact on the family of our community?
100%, and you bring up the game of lacrosse. Fortunately, about 3 years ago, I had the opportunity through our department to be able to bring forth the first ever recreational lacrosse program here in Prince George's County.
Hey, I told you he's breaking.
As we know, this area is really a hotbed for lacrosse, but we didn't have a recreational program. And so when you talk about that impact, to be able to see youth, predominantly African Americans who hadn't been exposed to the game of lacrosse, come out at Walker Mill Regional Park on a Saturday when we got ages 5 all the way to 14. We started out, had 17 teams the first year. We've grown the program to nearly 40 teams.
Wow.
Teams come down from Baltimore. It's the only spot that you can see lacrosse and have a DJ playing go-go at the same time.
I love it.
But I say all that to say that impact really, comes along the concept of empowerment through exposure.
Yes.
The opportunity that sports and recreation provides and being able to connect youth, not only the youth, but when we talk about lacrosse, we're able to connect youth, parents, coaches to a game that they at first didn't really know about. So the first couple of weeks on the sideline, the sporting event is usually loud, parents, what's going on? It was quiet because nobody necessarily knew what was going on.
I picked up that stick like, okay.
Yeah, like what's going on? But a couple weeks later, they got hip to it. But really that concept of empowerment through exposure and all the life lessons and building character out of sports and recreation is what I enjoy being a park and recreation professional.
I love it. Now, it didn't start then. You are from our community, and you come from an athletic family, brother.
Right.
If you don't mind, can you share a little bit about the impact sport has had on you and through your family?
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, I definitely Prince George's County all the way since I've been able to be here. I'm originally from North Carolina. Grew up there, but I've came here and embraced this area, and it's home to me.
Yes, sir.
But my dad, growing up, man, my dad was a Vietnam veteran. 3 months after I was born, he became paralyzed through an injury sustained through serving the country in Vietnam. But through that process, me growing up, I saw the impact of sports and recreation on his life. So my dad was 92 Paralympic athlete, Barcelona, Spain. We talked about the dream team. When my pops was there, Paralympics.
Wow.
Power.
From here?
He's really from Chester, South Carolina.
Okay, gotta get
it right. You know what I mean? But had the opportunity to go there, man, and he represented the United States. Bench pressed nearly 500 pounds, came in 5th overall. So, and then we always talk about the concept, and you hear a lot about people talk with LeBron. More than an athlete.
Yes.
My dad was more than an athlete because a lot of times when we look at a lot of things when it comes to people with disabilities and things that we currently take for granted, like having lifts on a bus, ramps, that stuff wasn't there in the 80s.
Yes.
So it took advocacy work. Like my dad was on the White House lawn when they signed the ADA, the American with Disability Act.
Yes.
So that concept. So he was more than he definitely was putting it up. He was my little league basketball coach, baseball coach. But also, not only was he an athlete, but he, advocacy work to make sure people with disabilities, veterans got their benefits and all that type of stuff. So my pops is my hero. And like I said, this is just an example of what sports and recreation can do.
Now, you too have an opportunity to, you see the joy on his face? Yes, you have the opportunity to have that joy. So I want you to write down this information because we want you to be connected. There's so many young persons need the opportunity to feel the power of being a part of an organized sport community. So how can our parents connect our children?
Absolutely. We want you to go to the pgparks.com. Once again, pgparks.com. When you go there, you'll have an opportunity to access all the opportunities that we have from a sports and recreational, all the programs from our youth adult league, our adult leagues, our youth leagues, baseball, softball. When we talk about youth, we've had the opportunity the last couple of years to connect we talked about lacrosse. Volleyball, making sure our youth get connected to that sport.
Okay.
You know, and then
you got scholarships in volleyball too.
Absolutely,
right?
They got that, right? But then we talk about some of the, I guess we would consider our traditional sports, some basketball, t-ball, but really having that exposure point. And it's not all about necessarily going to the point where you're going to necessarily develop. Everybody's going to be super competitive or be a professional athlete. But we want to give the opportunity. So you have a way to say, hey, you might like this, you might like lacrosse, you might like volleyball. So go to pgparks.com. And also a key element for what we do at the Department of Parks and Recreation, what makes our program successful, is we need those volunteer coaches. We need those parents. We need those college athletes, high school athletes that want to come back and give back to their community. You don't have to necessarily learn to know the game completely. We'll teach you. But having that passion to be able to give back to the community. So once again, pgparks.com, look at our sports section, and you'll definitely be able to get engaged. And we really have a year-round curriculum for all these sports, and we're excited to continue to grow the game of sport. When we talk about lacrosse, we talk about volleyball, basketball, t-ball, and like I said earlier, the peewee age, even from that age, they're really connecting, and this is an engagement that comes to it, from the health side, but also, really the character development piece is so important when we talk about youth sports.
Now, for those parents out there or our seniors who want to write a check, think about it. If you're blessed to be able to support, how do we do that? How do we can volunteer, but for those of you who say, well, look, I'm not going to be running behind, but I can write a check or send some cash to support. How do we do that also?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to leverage that pgparks.com address website again. But then, through our department, we have our Parks Foundation where we're able to connect with those that might want to be able to provide donations. We also have a portal there called the Community Connect, where those that you might want to give back as a group, as an organization, a service organization, a fraternity, a sorority, to be able to come in and volunteer as a group to give back. So pgparks.com, look for those avenues, our Community Connect, as well as connecting to our Parks Foundation. And we love to always have the opportunity to partner to be able to expand. Because when it comes to youth sports and recreational opportunities, we know we're not the only entity in the county that are doing positive work, but we want to be that portal and that awareness piece. Because when you come to a county, a lot of times the first thing you're going to look at is the Park and Recreation Department. How can I find out what's going on? So we want to provide that awareness piece.
That's wonderful. I know I was really, I didn't know the impact until I put the helmet on. And as a kid, I got that baseball bat and I played organized t-ball.
There you go. There you go.
I realized then that I prefer cooking. That's why I so even if you don't go all the way, just participating can give you an opportunity of knowing what you can and what you want to do, right? Because I could have had parents that say, no, but I had parents and coaches that say, look, let me get this bat and give you a knife.
And we're happy that he did that, we're getting the rewards for that.
So often, parents retire and they go back thinking that they're not programs for them. But we know that you have organized programs even for our seniors.
Absolutely.
Can you talk about some of those programs?
Absolutely. One thing we would love to leverage today and I'll be able to talk about is pickleball. Growing sport. And in this county, we've had the opportunity to really connect with some of those community champions. We've had tri-pickleball days, and this is great because this is a sport that really from the youth all the way up, to our, our active population, right? So pickleball is definitely unique. Our adult softball leagues, we're super proud of those, and we're happy to be able to return to really our full complement this spring of our adult sports. So definitely sign up because once again, this is an engagement piece. Not only we highlight our youth sports opportunities, but we know the social interaction, the physical fitness, the mental wellness that is associated with participating in sports and recreation programs. Doesn't it stop with youth? It's with us as well. And we have to make time for that. We have to make time for that.
I love it. Now, we're here, and I know you don't see our masks, but we have them, right? So we do practice all protocols, okay? So can you tell us about some of those protocols that you all have put in place to keep us safe as we engage?
Absolutely, definitely. We've been fortunate, even when we returned back to some of our outdoor sports last fall, that we still have implemented, when it comes to safety protocols, from wearing your mask, also from the hand sanitation stations to, this was a tough one because we know everybody wants to come cheer on little Johnny, right? Yeah. But we've had to limit spectators, that amount too, because the most important thing is that we were able to return the youth to the games and sports.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So we've put those in place. We've also, as awareness from the Department of Parks and Recreation, I always encourage, if you're not feeling well, to have that opportunity to be able to stay home. And we've implemented one thing out of this, through the pandemic. Now we have our online portal resources. So we have our Technique Tuesday. Every Tuesday we come out with great sports tips from some of our sports instructors, showing you stuff that you can do from home.
Yeah.
So, we've been able to pivot, but we've been excited to be able to return back to play. And we've kicked off our Intercenter Basketball League indoors. We got an indoor futsal league. So with all those components, safety definitely is the most important element. And fortunately, we've been successful in providing that opportunity in a safe manner. And that only happens with the cooperation and collaboration from parents and youth participating as well.
So you are really close to our county through our sports departments. What I want you to share with us some examples of how you have seen success. Like what are some success examples?
Yeah, absolutely. And being a park and recreation professional, often there's times when I think those in the community might not necessarily know all the elements that we do from a sports provider or recreation provider, because a lot of times you just see us when you get there at the event, at the game. So the one key element I'm really excited about is what we've been able to do is really connect youth to not only participating in the sports, but the administrative process, the careers that can come out of that. We have a junior official program where youth, from basically that 15 all the way up to 18 age can come in, learn the game, learn how to be a referee, and officiate our PV sports program, connecting them to the sports. Videography connected to a production. Like I said, the experience when you come out to a lacrosse weekend at Walker Mill. It's exciting. So we got videographers that can come out learning that trade, learning the stats. So that's the part. Those are success stories of being able to learn the elements that are connected to the production of sports and recreation programs.
So there's so many ways that you can not just watch, you can participate. And once again, how do we get our community connected to your agency?
Absolutely. pgparks.com. Go there, connect to the sports. You also can send us an email at countywidesports@pgparks.com. countywidesports@pgparks.com. Send us an email, say, hey, I want to learn a little bit about your Pee Wee program, adult sports, youth sports. One of our team members will respond back and we will be able to get you connected. So we're excited about that, pgparks.com, and we really are having an opportunity to really empower our community through sports and recreation.
When I Googled, my son and I were watching, the Super Bowl together,
right? There you go.
I'm like, hold on. I wonder how much does the referees get paid? And we Googled it. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Then I said, I wonder how much the water boy gets paid. And we Googled it. I'm like, a water boy makes this much money? Yes, Google it. I'm not going to tell you everything. So we want you to know, you have the unique opportunity to be a part of your community, to engage with the athletic departments, not only in your schools, but also in your county. When we do this, we as a community connect and we sustain our young persons for a brighter future. So before we go, I always ask my guests, is there something that I should have asked that everybody needs to know that you want to share?
Yeah, absolutely. One element I would say is please get involved, get connected. There's so many opportunities when you talk about a park and recreation department. In our department here in Prince George's County, if you didn't know, is considered the top agency in the nation. We give out, our national organization, NRPA, gives out awards, the Oscars of park and recreations, right? And we've won more than any department in the nation, 6-time gold medal winning agency. So with that said, take advantages of what the opportunities that we have, and we want to build. There's opportunities where if you see something, we talked about pickleball earlier, you want to learn more about pickleball, you want us to put on more, contact us at countywidesports@pgparks.com, and we're looking forward to being able to make sure that and have a connection to the best park and recreation agency in the nation right here in Prince George's County.
And you can be a part of that. All you need to do is connect get active, and knowing that you make a difference. So, brother, I want to thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much. Appreciate the opportunity.
Yes, for
Absolutely.
participating in this edition of Coach Connection, where we are connecting you, the community, to coaches that's making a difference in all of our lives. Not just young people, but our seniors also, too. We have to get activated
There you go.
and back to work.
Absolutely.
Till next time, tune in. Coach Connection. I'm Tate. Have a great one.
Coaches Connection, connecting you and the greater DMV to local sports programs, as well as the coaches that inspire our local youth. This show has been brought to you by the Scholar Athlete Sports Network, SASN.TV.